Hi everyone, welcome back, and if you're joining me on this video, it's on the back of the video where I fitted the recoil spring. It's the same day, and I just thought, because a lot of people are probably saying, why didn't you put any like lubrication on that spring? I don't want to put mounds on, but I do think it needs a little bit where the spring guides are. So I thought, while I remember, or while this is still fresh and I've just done it, let's do that, and just because I don't know what this spring is, whether it's just spring steel. We don't want any corrosion, we don't want anything binding up, so let's just whack a bit of grease on it. And more importantly, in today's video we're going to be fitting the EMG arms, or the Dytac, whichever you want to call it, stock piece, adapter, set, whatever you want to call it. I do have stocks that will go on here with the M4 adapter. I don't have anything with the RIS adapter just because I couldn't. Airsoft Artisan makes some really nice folding stocks, and that's what a buddy of mine uses, and he swears by it, but the ones that they had in stock were just not the style that I preferred. So I was like, I'm not going to buy a folding stock for the sake of it. I'll wait till it comes back into stock, and then back into stock, and then I'll go from there. But I want to try this thing with an M4 tube on it, so let's get to taking this thing apart. Not sure how this is done or how easy it's going to be, so we'll go through it together. Never done one before, but I presume it's going to be very straightforward. So first of all, I'm going to take the grip off. Now I have ordered a new grip. It's coming from the US through Brownells in the UK, so it's going to take a bit of time to get here. Like getting any like real parts at the moment, like grips or stocks or anything like that. Like I wanted to get a Hogue because I had a GHK AK-74 years ago, and I had a Hogue on it, and it was so comfortable. I really did like it. But you try getting a Hogue grip for an AKM at the moment, it's not very easy at all. So we've took that off with a flathead screwdriver. There's a Phillips screw in the stock, which I'm gonna have to remove as well. So we'll flip this over, and basically the little hole in here, it's going to be difficult for you to see it, but we have a little hole here which we push the door, and then we slide the screwdriver, and just so happens the screwdriver went straight onto that screw. So, and then we turn that out. There we go. It's just a PH2, so a Phillips 2. One of few screwdrivers that still has the markings on it because they get used so much. So once that's removed, we have a 4mm Allen bolt in the back there to remove. So where is my 4mm? This was tight when I was just sort of having a look, so we'll put the old 2 Allen key trick where we put it through the handle, get a bit of torque on it. There we go. And we can remove this. I'm not sure we'll have to remove that flathead screw as well. We'll find out soon enough. So there's the bolt for that. Right, I'm having a little play with this because it's going to be a boring video if I'm sat here for 10 minutes trying to figure it out. But I'm just going to have a quick play with this, and then once I've done it, I'll unpause the video. So I've had a little look with like just using a little torch, just seeing what's blocking in the way. I think basically this part's blocking it, so we're going to have to remove the trigger pack from the rifle. To do that, I'll just drop the bolt out, I think anyway, so I might get stuck, so we'll see. We'll drop the hammer on it. Once we've dropped the hammer on it, we want to remove the selector. So to do that, we need to push it down on the lever there, and we can pull the selector lever out. And then I believe it's just these 2 pins. I don't see anything else really that could be blocking it, so we'll tap these pins out. A little tappy. So let's get something that won't damage it. So these are probably held in with like a little spring washer or something, much like the MWS. They're not in super tight at all. So that's the front one. These are probably the same, but that's the back one. Hopefully now, yeah, there we go. Oh, look how easy that is. I'm going to set it down safely so no springs pop out, because that's the last thing we want. And that was the final thing holding this in. So it sits in like that. And the only way I really deduced that it wasn't going to like lever up and pull out was by looking at this bracket. So just seeing that what's there. Got a little spring there. So I imagine we need to move that over to the new part. So let's try and do this without losing it. Because as soon as it goes off the bench in this place, it disappears. Like that spring out the Geisley, not the Geisley, the forward assist was it that's going to go in the Geisley. Luckily I found a spare spring, but yeah, that got yeeted into oblivion, never to be seen again. Right, we'll fit that in now. Are you going to go straight in, or are you going to be a bitch? So hopefully. So that goes in there, nicely done. I'll pop this bolt in the back with the 4mm. And look how this is made, it's very intricate, isn't it? Marui never fails to disappoint. I can't wait to see what they've done with the Saiga 12, and the fact that they've delayed it so much fills me with a bit more confidence in buying one on release. Hopefully they've figured out whatever issues they were having, but it's been a long time now. It's almost like they've revealed all the promo that before we put that on, let's put the trigger pack back in. It's like they were revealing all the promo like it was about to drop, and then nothing happened. Like it literally just withered away and we're never to be seen again. So hopefully we see that soon. These pins can go back in, and they are much like the MWS with the 2 notches in, or the 1 notch on the MWS. So we haven't got to smack it into smithereens like some rifles. LCT. Let's get this put back in. Need to push that out of the way. We're going to be able to do that. Or do we need to? There we go. Ooh, very slippery. Much grease. Just double check that works. So that works, that's fine. That can go back in. Put the bolt back in for now. So now we have this bracket fitted. I'm going to be trying this one at first just because I don't have a side folding wrist stock to put on there. And we're going to pop this back together. Like I said, I do have a grip coming, it's just not here yet, so this grip won't be staying. So it can go back on for now. There we go. Let's the grip back on. Right, stock. So this is only really held in with 2 bolts, which is a little bit concerning to me, but they are quite hefty bolts. I believe it's these 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Loctite these because I don't want them coming loose. This Loctite is removable, so it's not like the super heavy duty stuff. So what we'll do, that's the right size, so we'll Put a bit of this liquid moly stuff on, it's very good. Just a little bit like that. Line this up. The wrist plate that goes on the back has a lot more fixings. So it has pins that go into place. It has like a little latch at the top that slides into place. So in terms of fitment onto this stock piece, it looks superior, but you do only secure it with one screw. So I'm hoping these will be enough. So those are in. Let's get the old 2 Allen key trick going on so we can torque it down. There we go. So there is the stock adapter on. This is probably this gun's gonna look weird until we get all the bits on. So just to pre-warn you, it's gonna look like some mishmash of parts that you like people running like Escape from Tarkov or something. Let's pop the top cover back on. And in terms of parts, I was kind of I didn't really know what sort of stock tube it would take. You're going to want to go on. There we go. So I do have the standard stock tube that's from my MTW9 build. Now that was an insane build. If you haven't watched that video yet, I suggest you go check it out. Which seemed to go straight in. I'm not sure what the spec is with MTW receivers. I'm sure it would be like mil spec or something. I don't see why they wouldn't do that. So if that's the case, this goes straight in. Just getting it in as many turns as I can there. Can't remember if I did it that many or one less. Let's go for that many. So where's my armourer's wrench? There it is. So we'll snug this down. It's very difficult with the way the camera's set up to get it in shot. So it's a nice steel castle up there. So that's nice. And I haven't got to go buy something. So this was, I've already got it. Just going to nick this up off camera so I can hold it securely. Oh. And there is the rear stock tube. So I have 2 options for this. I can shove on a black CTR stock off of the 308, which again is a genuine one. It's not a copy. I don't use copies of these anymore. So this actually goes on, I think, really snug. So the plus side to that is there's going to be no wobble on it. So that's the M4 stock on there. Just giving it a little test off camera, and that is like, oh god, that is worlds apart compared to what it was like. Just try it with a mag in to enable that latch. So I can get a feel for the looking down the rifle while firing it. Yeah, seems good. Ugh. So there we have the M4 stock on there. Like I said, I could fit the rail one on. It's going to look weird with the wood front and end on until we like modernise this up, especially with the grip as well. So that is one option. I could use the CTR. However, I do have another stock. There we go. I knew I had one. Oh, I had this, which I think I bought from a company called Rifleworks in the UK. This is going back some builds ago when I did the 308. But it was meant to come with 2 adapters, so I could use like a sling point. It didn't, and it was an opened product, and I went backwards and forwards with them, and they was like, oh yeah, we'll sort you one out, and it was a load of bullshit. So it never went any further, and it's just one of those things where I'd have liked to have bought a lot more bits off them over the years, but I end up not doing that because you get a bad taste in your mouth, some businesses, don't they, when they're bullshitting you. I know that product was opened, and I know parts were switched out in it. So the other option is we can have a full stock, like so. But I don't think that's going to be how I'm going to run it, just because I think we take that plate off, I think, maybe, and it sort of slots in there. But with having the shorter front end on, I'm probably going to want the ability to shorten the stock if I'm going into buildings and such. And the fitment on this CTR is just really good. And the reason I go for the CTRs is because usually, let's say you adjust it, and if you've got an MTW and you want a real stock that fits and has no wobble, this is proof. This is an MTW tube. So sometimes you can extend it and it'll have a little bit of play. And what I love about the CTRs is you just push that and it clamps down onto this section here, just ever so slightly, and just makes it a lot more rigid, which I don't really need it on this. So yeah, very cool. We'll keep that adapter in case we want to change it up in future. There's the possibility to do that. We've got the front end still to fit. I'm just going to assemble the stock all back together to keep the parts safe. And I'll keep this, you know, things always change. We see a YouTube video. Normally I'm watching like the likes of Garantham, Administrative Results, and all those guys, Milspec Mojo, T-Rex Arms. And you'll see a video and you're like, oh, now they've done like a... It was the main reason why I built that M733 with the retro build. So this gun is going to look a little bit wacky for the moment. Zoomed out a little bit there so you can see it. It's going to look a bit daft. Once we've got all the nice front end bits on, it's going to come into its own. It's going to look like a bit like a modern 105, I think, especially with that SAG rail. But this is easier to work on than the MWS. Granted, I haven't got to pull the trigger pack apart yet, but this is far superior. The amount of purchase it has, you know, you've got an extra 1.5 inches of purchase in your shoulder, and it's just a preference thing. If you get on with AKs, you could pull this thing out of the box and just use it. Me, I like to mess with stuff. I knew I wanted to do a modern iteration of it. There's always chances for me to buy another one of these and put a wood bits and pieces on. Maybe like a ZPT, is it the ZPT1 or the ZPT5 stock, the folding one? Possibilities are endless. You know, I started at years and years and years ago, like 6+ years ago, I started with the Mark 18, which I sold on pretty quick because I had it in a trade. And then I bought another MWS, and then it's just mothballed from there. Now I've got like 4 or 5 of them, so it's probably going to happen with the AK, because the AK, it's just so fun to shoot, especially on full auto. So thanks for tuning into this video. Bit of a long one, apologise. Stock's fitted. I wouldn't have to do all that again, which I like with this bracket. I could literally, right, I want to fit a folding stock now, like a wrist mounted folding stock. I can literally undo those 2, heat them bolts up a little bit, remove the 2 bolts, take that plate off. I don't even think I'd have to fully remove all this. I could just loosen the stock off and just sit it to the side, remove that plate off, put the RIS adapter on, and that's how easy it is. I haven't got to take all the inner workings of the gun apart again. So thanks for tuning into this, again, lengthy video on the AKM. That's how you fit the EMG Dytac Rifle Dynamics stock adapter. There may be some differences in terms of whose adapter that you've bought, but the way that it comes out is very much the same. So from me and Bench, I'll see you in the next one, and have an awesome day.